Now, let's come to the most interesting part, which is talking to you, which is about walkthrough and demo of the software. Let me shift the screen. I'll go to the Excel software. I'm using a software called as eCAAT. Okay. Now here, let me also open one presentation. I want to show you the presentation. Yeah, there's a presentation, and I'm going to jump between the presentation and the Excel sheet. Are you able to see this presentation? Narasimhan, are you able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything is fine.
Or should I share the screen? No,
it's good.
Yeah.
The PPT is also appearing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'm going to pick up some of the techniques. Demo of key functions of data analytics using eCAAT. I'm used as a sample, the eCAAT. You can use any software for that purpose. Maybe some of the functions, those who are Excel experts, you can perform in Excel also. We'll see what is it. We'll also see which functions you can perform in Excel, how well you can perform, how simple or easy it is to use data analytics compared to Excel. Now, I think Mehtaji is also talking about Excel being a Swiss knife. Now, it depends on our own perspective. I was telling, let's say if you have a knife, using a knife, can you cut a tree? Yes, you can cut a tree. Now, using a saw, can you cut a tree? Yes. Now, the question is, you should know what to use, which tool, and when to use the tool. Now, if I got a sword, can I use it to cut a tree? You can use it, but it depends on what is the time and effort you're going to spend. So, depending on the need, you should be able to use the right tools. If I got a screw to be removed or a screw to be fixed, I should know that I cannot use a hammer, I should use a screwdriver. Okay, so data analytics is generally a multi-dimensional set of tools. What are the three primary functions of data analytics software? First, it has enhanced power of use of Excel. So it means it can be a definite time saver. It can also give you business intelligence MIS reports on the fly. Yesterday, when I was showing various types of dashboards which you see. Now we'll see, I'll show you this also, and you can see what are the various types of dashboards which you can generate from here. You can also perform data analytics, very, very powerful data analytics in just a few simple clicks. For example, when I was talking about how to identify unique, he said for identify unique, you have to become an insider of Microsoft. No, you don't need to become an insider. Using data analytics, you can do this in a few clicks, in a few seconds. So there are more than 350 functions in the eCAAT. Like that, each software has its own set of functions. Now, Narasimhan also talked about when you're using data analytics, this is some of the things you have to look at. Now, if you look at the software itself has been designed to follow the steps of a data analytics software. So you have curate, which means you purify the data, you bring the data to an acceptable standard of usage, you profile the data, which means macro level, you get an idea about the data. Third, you analyze the data, perform from various perspectives. For example, I can identify duplicate, identify uniques, identify changes. I can perform various types of sampling. I can do fuzzy match. I can do sort and filter. I can split sheet based on specific criteria. This is what the various types of analysis I can do. I can also do various types of investigative function, which is the next level. For example, I can perform MIS analysis. I can query the data. I can also have relating, which means joining two types of files and finding out the result, which we do in VLOOKUP. I can also ensure that what a process I'm doing, I'm also documenting this. And then also have tools, utilities and tools which I can use, and there's also help available. These are generally the parallels of functions which are available. Narasimhan, you can, I think, mute my video so that we can focus on the presentation. Now let's have a quick look at the brief description and demo of the key functions. Now, first, I said you need to get the data in the required format. The first function we use is what is called as harmonize sheets. What does harmonize sheet mean? Harmonize sheet means, Narasimhan, you can mute my video. Yeah, thank you. You can reformat the column heading rows automatically as per the standard tabular format for the current or selected workbook or workbook for performing various functions. Okay, now let's see, jump to Excel and see how we can perform this. Okay, I've got this data. Now, if you see, this is the sample data which I'm using. This is also available in the software. There are some guidelines pertaining to how to use the software. Okay, before I get started, I just want to show now it's 11:45. I may go up to 12:45. Is that okay, Narasimhan?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. No problem.
So, yeah, so maybe we'll keep about 10-15 minutes in the end for questions. I'd like to spend more time here because this, I think, will give a lot of value addition. Okay.
Sure.
So we also have got frequently asked questions, but Yeah. Then we have sample data for test related from various types of. Now I was telling you about curate. But if you see the curate, this is the curate panel. Okay, let me see if I can magnify this. Yes. Now if you see curate functions, now if you see remove. Yesterday somebody was asking, can I remove trail spaces, multiple spaces, all the type of analysis you can do. Remove broken links also. Next. Now you got delete. Now if you look at delete, I can remove objects and images, top X rows, empty blank rows, empty, all this you can do in a simple click. Okay. Similarly, you can transform the data, extract visible cells. For example, I filtered the data. I want to extract only specific cells. I can directly copy, instead of copy and paste, I can directly make a copy of the cells which are visible. Okay, you can also segregate the cells based on the font style. Okay, you can fix the date. And now here, what I want to show you was the function called harmonize sheets. Now for that, let me pick up a sample data. This is the sheet data which is available. Now if you see here, I got an image here, I got a link here, I got the data for top rows which are to remove. Now this data sheet is in a mess. Okay, now if you see here, a lot of data available. Now let me remove the freeze pane. Yeah. Yes. Now if you see, now we have a lot of data here, maybe about 2000 rows plus. Okay, now you also got blank rows. If you see here. Okay, now again you have got blank rows. Now if you see, if you apply the filter, now you know that you have to select the whole sheet and then you have to do the circus, otherwise you will not be able to remove. Now here again you got blank rows. Okay, now you got all this. Now I'd like to harmonize this data. Now let's see this where the power of the data analytics comes in. I go to transform. Okay, I just pick up the harmonize sheets. Now you got this, you are able to see this. Now you see, it says you can do for the worksheet or you can do for the complete workbook itself. Okay, what is that I want to enter? Now if you see here, there are 13 rows which I want to remove. I say remove top 13 rows. I give that. Okay, next, I got unmerge column heading, unmerge all data, like that. I got multiple things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say select basic options. By default, we know that when you're performing data analytics, these are the major things I want to do. Remove empty rows, remove images, remove blank rows, hang header, name blank column, all these things I do. And I have to just say yes. Now, if there are subtotals also, I can remove the subtotal other things and do it. I say okay. Now you see the magic, what happens with this. With one simple click, now see the data is transformed. Which means I got the data in a structured format in which I want. Now I want to see whether the blank sheets, this one is gone. Now you see, I come to the end, which means all the blank rows, everything is removed. And this is what is the power of the data analytics. Now this where we curate or purify the data. I just showed you one function, how to harmonize the data. Now let's come back again. Now let's look at profiling of the data. One of the first things I want to know is, I want to know what is the overall profile of the data. So this is where we perform a function called column statistics. Okay, what does this column statistics mean? I want to display the column statistics of numeric, date, or character related data. Okay, we can also, I'm also giving an example where this could be used. I want to show you with a simple thing how this cutoff concept is applied, how the completeness concept can be applied and inferred just by using a simple function. Let's come to our Excel. We have got this Excel. Now I'm coming to this one, statistics. I come to details, column statistics. Now I'm using the same data what I got here. Now here, by default, it tells me the three types of data here, numeric data and character. I'm going to pick up the profiling for the three types of data. Now it gives me various types of statistics. I can get number of negative record, number of null value record, like that. I've got complete set of the information. Okay, I'm going to say select all numeric statistics. Okay, and I say okay. And let's see what we can get from this. Now this should be able to perform. So here in this data analytics tools, now you see in a few seconds I got the data. For the amount, I got the average of positive records. There are no negative records. What is the average of all the records? Number of negative records, number of positive records, number of null value records, which means there are records which have got value is null. Number of zero value records, number of distinct records. So it means I get a complete profile. I also know the maximum value is this and the minimum value is 500. If there are any cells with inconsistent formula, which means he has given me a sheet and he's applied a formula, somewhere in between he's gone and changed the formula. That also you'll be able to analyze. Same thing applies for quantity and unit price. Now you see, in a few seconds, I got a complete profiling of the data. Now, based on this, now I'm going to ask my audit staff to go and look at this null value records. Which are these records? Which are null value records? I double click, I get the complete list. Now it tells me that these are all the POs which have been cancelled. Now I want to verify. I can ask my staff to save this file, okay, and ask them to verify the documentation pertaining to this. Okay, so it means it's already copied the data. Now let me come back again here. Now I would like to do the statistics again for, let's say, the date related field. Now I'm going to pick up the date. By default, it says there's only one date related field. I'm going to select all the date related fields. Now see the power. What are the type of functions which are available in just one screen? And I have to just say okay. Now tell me if you used Excel. Now is using data analytics software difficult? Now same thing, if you want to find out the data as per month wise, I want to find out the data as per the, can I get this? See, we already got the result. What do I get here? Now let me see if I can apply the magnifier. Yes, now if you see here, it gives me the total number of records, number of null value records. Now I was talking about the cutoff concept. Now based on the data, it has told me the earliest date is 1st April, the latest date is 2016. Now it also tells me month-wise, it gives me the complete set of records. It also gives me day-wise what are the sales will happen. Now interestingly, I find that even Sunday they are making the sales. Now it also tells me that number of sales with inconsistent record is nil. Okay, this is what is the power of profiling of the data. Like you remember, I said that data analyst prepares. Using this type of a data, I can prepare and profile and decide what are the specific areas I want to focus on during the audit process. Next, let's go to the classify. This is similar to the pivot table function, which most of you use. I'll show you how different it is from the pivot table. Let's understand what this classify function means. It groups each distinct value in a character column and displays sum and count of a corresponding numeric column. For example, if I got the sales data, I can summarize the sales data as per name of the customer, or I can summarize the data as per the product code. If I got the purchases and I want to find out what the purchases as per the specific rate, I can group them as per the specific rate or as per the product category and find out are there any exceptions, which means once I group it, I know for the same product code, have you paid GST at a different rate? Okay, now let's go to the demo. I'm going to use the same sheet. What is that I want to do? I want to do classify. Now I come to data, I come to classify. Now what do? I want to classify, let's say based on the material code, which means based on the material code. Narasimhan, can you unmute my video? Mute my video. Yeah, thank you. So I got the material code, and what is the total I want? I can get the total for the quantity. I just want to hear unit price. Unit price, it's meaningless to total. I pick up the amount. Okay. I can also get the percentage for this. I'm not going to select the percentage. Now I've got the material code. I can also group by, which means I can group this based on the vendor code, which means it will give me the details for each material code for each of the suppliers, what are the rate and what are the purchases I have made. Okay, now like what you do in pivot table, we can do the same thing here, but let's see what is the difference here. Now you see, I got the result here at one shot. What do you see here? Now if you see, classify on material code, it tells me what is the count, what is the percent of material count, and it gives me the sum. Now let's look at some more magic which you can do. Now I just want to sort it and see who is the customer from whom we bought the max, for which material has been bought maximum. Now I know this is the product DB1657 which has been bought the maximum number of times. I want to similarly sort it based on the value. I think there is some issue here. Oh, I think there is no problem because the decimal value is looking like this. Okay, this based on the lowest value and the highest value, I can get the information. Similarly, I want to look at based on the count, which product have you bought the maximum number of times, which product the least number of times, I give this information. Not only that, I also want to find out which item, let's say based on the count, which item has been bought more than, let's say, 80 times. It will filter and give me the information at one shot. So these are all the items which have been bought, 80. Now let me say 85. Now I'm going to do this again. Yeah. So I want to pick up 85. Now you see, I got this filter. Now I want this information. I want to do analysis based on this. I can pick up this data and do the analysis. Okay. Now this is about The classified. Now let's look at stratified, which means I got the data. I want to stratify based on the bands, based on the value. Okay, what is this concept all about? Now remember, this can be done in Excel also. Anything can be done in Excel. You ask any Excel guru, any software programs are developed to such an extent. Now you can do that particular analysis using the software. The only question is, I just remember the analogy. If you want to cut a tree, are you going to use a knife or a sword, or are you going to use a saw? That's what you need to look at. So depending on the objective, use the right tool. That's what is most important. Now, what does the stratified numeric do? Groups numeric data into different strata based on specific intervals and displays the count and sum with percentage for each of the strata. I've also said what are the assertions, accuracy, and coupling index is what you can check. Let's go back to the same. I'm just sticking to the same sample data. Now here, what do I want to do? I want to do stratify. Just go to stratify. There are various types of stratify. I'm just going to pick up numeric. Now, if you see here, look and feel is very similar. What is the field I want to stratify? Amount by default is already picked up the numeric field. Field to total is also amount. I can also do based on the quantity. Unit price doesn't, it's not meaningful. Okay. Now, next, it also tells me what is the minimum and what is the highest, and it's given me band. Okay, this amount. For the timing, I'll use it as it is. I can also group it and say I want to do it based on the product wise or based on the vendor wise. I can also put a condition. I want to do the stratify for all values where the purchase rate is more than 5,000 rupees. Okay, this is where I can give the condition. Okay, for the purpose of simplicity and doing it faster, I'm not selecting all the options. Now it's a fill. By default, it picked up everything. Now just imagine if you have to do in Excel, you have to go and create the band for each of them and then apply the value. And next, most important, I click OK. Now let the software do its work and it'll show you the result. Now if you see here, it has come to the result. What does it show me? The stratify. Okay. Yes. Now if you see blanks, now immediately I get to know that 13 blanks. Remember we had. It shows me the blank. It shows what is the value between 500 to this one. Next again 296, 8592 this one. Like that, it gives me this one. Not only that, it gives me the count. Now for example, I want to sort this. I just click. I get to know which is now this is strata. For example, I would like to do investigation. I double click and I can go to the details. Okay, this is how simple it is to do the stratification. Same thing I want to do stratified random sampling. When you come to the same function through the sampling option, this sampling tab would be enabled. When you click on the sampling tab, it will give open a column where you can enter the number of samples and automatically you can select the sampling. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Summarize quick. Now we did if you remember for the character related data, we have done it for the date related data. Now let's look at what is summarize mean. Now, in the case of pivot table, it really doesn't matter whether the data is date, character, or this one. We can do it in one way. So, summarize the total is the data in the selected numeric column based on for each distinct value and displays the corresponding count and the sum. Okay, for example, you would like to do a sales analysis and pick up for each value of sales what is the count and what is the value. Let's come to the same table. Now, I come back to the data. Now I have to come to eCAAT. Now when you click on eCAAT, eCAAT is an add-in to Excel. So all these functions, about 350 plus functions are available here. Now here I said data. I want to go to summarize. Summarize also is available something called quick and key field. I'm just showing you quick. Now this is what I got. You see here. What is that I want to do? I want to summarize based on, I can do on the quantity also. I can do based on the amount. Okay, I'm going to select the amount and here accumulate the amount. Okay, I just selected for simple example. I could have selected the quantity also and I got quantity here, or it could be quantity there and amount here. Okay, and I also want the result in descending form. And I can also group it, which means I can decide grouping based on the vendor code or the material code. Okay, here I'm not looking at the material code for the timing. I'm just doing without the material code. Now, if you see here, for each unique value of sales, it summarizes and tells me the count and the sum. It also gives me the percentage. Here now I want to know which value we sold maximum. You find this 296,4090 we have sold once. Okay, now if you see here 2,400, 13 times happened, 700, 13 times happened. So it means if you're doing invoicing, now you want to find out some exceptions, you'll be able to find out the patterns. Which value of sale somebody is trying to enter, or which value of sales has been, same value has been repeated multiple times. Now, same thing, if you group it as per customer, for each customer, you can also see the pattern of purchases or the pattern of sales for each of the customers. So, you should remember, data analytics gives you insights from data. It doesn't give you insights. It gives you information. What you infer from the data is insights. Now let's come back again. We saw summarize quick. Let's go to the next one, which is aging of the data. Okay. Now for aging, I need to have some data which is clear, which means groups and totals all the records that are within or beyond the aging date based on the specific intervals. For example, I have got the stock I have got the purchase date. Now I want to find out the aging of the data based on the pattern of the stock. Now I have got one data called as the aging analysis file. Maybe probably I'll use that and I'll show you this. Where is in my aging analysis file? Well, another important interesting thing which you find in this case called as the index sheet. Now it creates an index sheet. Based on that index sheet, I can navigate to the specific sheet. Now this is what I got. For each of this one, I have got the purchase date with the amount. Now I want to perform. Now let's look at the item. The stock ranges from 2016 to 2017. Now I want to perform aging. Now I come to data. Let's see where this function is. Data. Here we got aging. Can I perform Excel aging in Excel? Yes, you can perform aging in Excel also. What you have to do, you have to compute on a particular date, minus it by the particular this one, purchase date, compute this one, and then again do the circus to be able to get that. Okay. Now by default, it found out the minimum date is 3014 and the maximum is 2017. It has got the complete details and it's given the interval of 30. Let's say I want to give the interval of 60. Okay, and I say fill. Okay, and then I say I can get the summary. I can also get the details, which means details means it gives product wise. Let's go to the summary. So in a few seconds, I've already got the band of data. So between 0 to 60, 5 items are there, 7,70,300. Between 60 to 120, I got this data. Now, if I see here magic, now if you see here, upper bound more than 1,000, there are 3 items, and this is the value of the items. Now, if I want to see what are these items, I double click. It takes me to the particular items and tells me what are the data purchased. Now we know based on this, I can also see whether these are actually obsolete items or these are items which are not available. These are just being shown. So in data analytics, I get the raw data from the source software or export it to Excel and use this Excel data to perform the analysis. Similarly, I'm interested in which are these items, or let's say look at the count. 120 to 180, there are 18 items, okay, or 180 to 240, there are 1 item. I can perform this analysis further and redo this again depending on my specific requirements. Now, I just want to demonstrate how simple and easy it is to use this data analytics function. So, get the concept, then you can apply using whatever tool you want. Now, let's look at MIS. What does MIS show? MIS shows for the date related field summation of values. Okay, now let me come to this function. Now what I would like to do is, let me come back again, which is the function I want to use. Let's say MIS, I want to use the sales transactions. Yes, I've got the sales transactions. Now if you look at the sales transaction data, I got about 666666 number of rows. Okay, now what is the MIS? Where is this MIS available? Analysis, MIS. Now tell me, in Excel, can I perform this? I've got the sales. We can do in Excel also. How is that? How easy it is? Let's look at it. Now this gives me at one shot, it gives me all these options. Okay. I want to know what is the sales made for each day of the year. Okay. And I click OK. This should be able to give me for each day what are the number of sales which has happened. Okay. Now this is where business intelligence or analysis or inference comes into this picture. Now it tells me on these days the transactions are only 1. Now you can go and check out why these transactions are only 1. Now if you say equal to 1, it will filter and pick up only 1. Or I want to say what are the days on which only 5 transactions have happened. Okay, I'll be able to get this data. So it means I can filter and pick this information. I want to pick up based on what they have done any window dressing. Okay, so what I want to know is I want to group this data, sort this data based on value. This is the day on which the low sales has happened. Again, single click, I'll be able to get the based on the total value. For example, 15.5, the total 25 or 28,59,100. On 6.9, you find it. So in this case, I can go further and analyze what is the pattern here. It looks like on some particular date, the number of transactions are quite high. Now I can go and pick up this data and extract it. Not only that, I have a beautiful function called extract. When I click on extract, now you see it has given me the particular data. This, if you see, if you have to do this in pivot table, you have to go individually and pick up each of this data. Now here we got extract. I can go and say, I want this result, I want this result, I want this data. It actually runs a query, picks up all the transactions of this particular date. I say extract. In a few seconds, I'll be able to get all the transactions happened here, and it gives you the message that job is done. Not only that, it would have actually copied the data. See 15569, all the data whatever we had. Now see from 6, there are 148 transactions which are of this particular meeting this particular condition. This is about the MIS. Now MIS, let me show you one more interesting thing. Yes, now let's come to MIS. Now let me come back to our sales transactions. Let's see. I'm coming back to MIS. Are you with me so far? I hope you're able to follow me and you're getting the concept clear. Yes, I think Narsim has also clearly mentioned it's important that you should view this in full view mode. Wherever possible, I'm trying to show in this and zooming it. I got sales, MIS. I want to know based on day of, now let me go day of the week. Okay. And let me see the result. What do I expect to see? I get for each day of this week, what are the total count and what are the total sales which has happened. Now you see this, on what day the sales is the highest, on what day the sales is the, now what is this Wednesday? Okay, so Wednesday the sales seems to be the lowest. Thursday, Guruvara Mantamma, there also the sales seems to be the lowest, lesser. So you can see the pattern. Now they are working 7 days of the week. Based on this you can find out. If the company is not supposed to work on a Sunday, you'll be able to pick up all the exceptional transactions which happened on a Sunday. Okay, same way now if I'm doing a GST audit, I'll just show you one last function in this. I got this. Now you should tell me what I should do. I go and select the sales because here I got only sales. I got this. If I had picked up the procurement and there are multiple value fields, it would have shown me everything. Now, can I do the invoice number? What is the use of doing based on the invoice number? There is no meaning. So it's important that you should select the right fields. Now here, I want to know month, which means I want to know month-wise sales. Now I want to do it based on the GST rate. Let's say this had the GST rate also. I can go and group based on the GST rate. Okay, based on that I can get the result. Here I got this. MIS, what did I select? I selected monthly. So what do I expect to get? I expect to get sales monthly. So if I am doing a GST audit, I can go and compare with the sales, which means from the raw data I got what are the sales. Now if I've grouped it based on the GST rate, for each type of a GST rate, I would have got this information. And I can do the analysis. I can also see on which month the sales is the highest, on which month the sales is the lowest, and I can see the pattern. I want to see the chart of this. I think I can click on this. I should be able to see the chart. Okay, this is a simple chart. Now, the beauty in this case is once I got the data, I can get into Excel and prepare any type of chart which I want. So it enhances the power of Excel. We got MIS. Let's come to outliers. This is another interesting thing, which means what I want to find out is what are the exceptions or irregularities which are there. Let's understand what is an outlier. It displays a record that exceeds X number of times average or standard deviation. Now, in this case, this is where your domain expertise comes from the business. Now, in this company, probably the average sales rate may be, let's say, 3 times or 5 times. You can define that parameter. Based on that, I can get the outlier. Now, let's see. I go here. Now, I got the same sales data. I want to perform the outliers. Outliers. I can also do by mass, by bounds. Okay, I'm not getting into that. I just want to pick up based on the numbers. Okay, what do I select? Field for outlier. I want to select the sales. I can also group it by, let's say, the name. So it means based on the customer wise, I can know within the customer what is the outliers. Okay, now I'm going to select, let's say, 3 times the average. Okay, this is done. I can get based on the details or based on the summary, which means details means for all the transactions put together, it will compute the outliers, or it will summarize, and based on the summary, it will generate the information. Let's see what is the outlier and what is the result we get. Now here, if you see, what do I get? For each of the days, it tells me for what is the sales, what are the average sales, and what is the difference. Okay. Now, where the difference is higher, which means the number of variance based on the day of the sales, I get this information. What is the number of times the sale is different? This is 3 times. Let's see. Now this is where, now these are the areas of concern. Now on 20th March, the variance is 12 times. Okay, which means it's 2,26,500 and the lowest could be the other amount. So you can go and check each of these areas. So it means at one glance, I'm able to find out what are the outliers. Now I want to pick up only items where it's greater than 3. Okay, this is all greater than 3 only. Let's say I want to pick up greater than 5. It gives me that information. Okay, this is how I can pick up the outliers. Now tell me, can I do this in Excel? Yes, you can do it in Excel. First, you have to compute the average. Then based on that, you apply the formula. Maybe you can write a macro and then automate the macro and use it every time. Okay, so I'm just giving the concept so that you can start applying this concept. So in data analytics, the most important thing is to ensure that the data is correct and complete, valid and authorized, and it provides proper presentation disclosure, and it belongs to the correct period. And ultimately, I should be able to identify any exception irregularities and find out whether they impact the materiality or impact the financial disclosure. Now, using this type of tools, it gives me at one shot, it gives me a complete perspective into the data. It gives me insight into the data, regardless of what is the value. Now, identify duplicate is a very simple function. So it means I can find out duplicates. Let me show you quickly. I'm going to run this quickly. There is a recording available. You can also see this. Now I just go here, identify duplicates. Now identify duplicates. You remember yesterday Unix. I'll come to Unix also. Identify duplicates. How do I identify duplicates? I just want to identify duplicate based on the invoice number. That's all. I can find identify duplicates based on the details and the summary. I'll just do you. You know that in this one we also have the based on the number. I'm going to do based on the summary, which means it tells me for each type. Now, for example, there are 3 invoices which are blanks. 1034 has come 2 times. 1454 has come 2 times. Now, I want to see the details. What do you do? Double click, you can get the details. This is how you can identify the duplicates. Now, let's come to the next function. Identify uniques. Okay, how simple it is. What is unique? Which means I remove the items which are come multiple times. I want only items which are unique, which means they are not repeated. They come only once. Here, which means now I want to find out which is duplicates. Now, for example, let's come back again here. Identify. If you see here, identify duplicates. I got identify unique. I can also do what is called as remove duplicates, which means I want one instance of everything. I can remove duplicates. I'll be able to get all the information. It removes the duplicate and gives me unique plus also one from the duplicates. Okay, if I got a customer sales, I want to find out the list of customers. I can use this. Based on that, I can get the complete list of customers. So what do I want to do? I want to identify uniques, which means I want to find out which are the customers who was bought only once. Okay, this is interesting. Which are the customers who bought only once? That's what I want to find out. I'll say okay. Now it tells me these are the guys who bought only once, which means others have bought multiple times. Now I find this Amir has got 2,26,500 and is bought only once. Then I can go and investigate why this guy has bought only once. And there's one more guy we have sold, but the invoice number itself is missing. Now this is how we can infer insight from the data. Identify format. What is the format? I have got this particular GST number or PAN number or anything for that matter. It's supposed to have a unique format, whether it's following that unique format. Now for that, I have to use the PAN number file. Let me see where is the PAN file. Where is my PAN and TAN? I can pick up any of them. I got this PAN number. Okay, now what do I do? Simple, I have to just go and identify the format. I just go here, identify the format. Okay, I've selected the PAN, show me the field length. I can also identify the exceptions. Okay, let's see what happens in this case. Now, if you see, it has identified the field length for each of these items and it tells me, okay, what is the field length? So it means now, let's say assuming PAN number, I'm not sure about this, pardon my ignorance. So these are the case where only 9 numbers are there. Now, these are case, I'm not sure how many numbers should be the PAN numbers. Okay, now 11. Okay, and these are the guys. So it means based on this, you can find out where the errors are. Same thing can be applied, let's say, for the TAN also. If I got the TAN, I want to go and identify the format. It can be, let's say, employee number, bank ID, anything for that matter. It's supposed to have a particular pattern. You can go and select that. It's very simple. See, by default, it's selected the TAN. I just ask him to show the field length. Okay, now it gives me the field length. Based on that, I can go and pick up the exceptions. So it means you can see there may be 10,000 transactions, 50,000 transactions. I'm going to identify the exceptions, data which is not falling within the format, and one shot. Okay, now we've got this character gaps. What's character gaps? If I got a data which is alphanumeric, it ignores the character and finds out the difference based on the removing the given character gaps. Let's see what is the file we have to use. I'm going to use the account trans file. Where is my account trans file? Yes, we got the account trans file. Yes, this is what I got. Now here I got the transaction number. Okay, this transaction number follows a particular sequence. Let's now go and apply the function identify gaps, character gaps. Now what is that I want to do? I want to do based on the transaction number. It's very important that you know what the field you're going to select. By default, it is found out the field mask. This is how it is. Okay, then I say show me the result. I see it has found out the difference. These are the places where there is a gap. And now let's check this from 12 to 12, 24 and 41. Now let's go here. If you check here, see 12 is missing here. Okay, like the 24 is missing. So like the 40, remember 41 is missing. So this is how I can find out the character gap. For example, bank has got a particular number pattern. They have first few characters and after that have numeric. Based on that I can define. I'll be able to find out the gaps. Okay, identify changes. Identify changes. Now, for example, I got the salary for the month of, let's say, November and December. I want to find out what is the difference between each of this. I'm sure you cannot do this in Excel. Let us come to this. I have to come to the cell, which is salary of November, December. Employees number, yes. I've got employees number. Now I got employees December. Okay, now if you see here, there are 25, which means 24 rows. And in November, I got 24 rows. So it looks similar. Now, what I want to do is, I want to find out the changes, which means I come to changes, identify changes. Now, see the type of options which are available. Now, you see here, I picked up eCAAT sample data employee number. Now, I have to go and select the second file, which is the employee December. Yes, I have selected employee December. Now, I got this. See, this is what I got. Now, identify, there are different options. Identify cells that have changed, identify cells that have not changed. I'm going to select these two options and what is the color I want. Okay, identify cells that have not changed. Right, by default selected. Display comment to cells that have changed, that I can also do. I can also extract the list of changes. Okay, I'm just saying okay. Now you see it found out what are the changes, which are the cells which are not changed, which are the cells which are changed. Okay, let's go quickly. Let's see, I may not be able to cover everything. Let's see, duplicate in same row. This is a very simple function. I think I can do it in Excel also. What is duplicate in the same row? Which means now there is a user ID and there is an authorizer ID. Now both of them are same persons. I want to find out whether the same transaction is authorized, is entered and authorized by the same person. Okay, let's see which file do I use for this. I think I can use the procurement file. Yes. Now where is my procurement file? Yes, there is a procurement file. Now here I got the, let's see what the, now most important is you need to know what is the data dictionary, which means what are the fields in the data. I got user ID here. Is there authorized ID here? User ID. No, I don't have authorized ID. Let me come back and check which is the file. Procurement file. Okay, it should be here then. Vendor name, unit price, pay trans, user ID. I think it seems to have removed. We had one more thing called as authorized ID. Okay, for the time, let me just pick up this way. I'm just going to modify this, copy this fellow, paste it here for the purpose of demo. Now insert copy itself. Hey, what did I do? Okay, let me just be careful. Yes, insert copy itself. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh no, most of them are going to be common. Okay. No, I think we'll leave it this way. So what we can do is, for example, let's say I've changed this. No, I can just go and change. I'll just show you how it works. I will not show the result. I just wanted to get the concept. Where did we have? So there's one more duplicates in same row. Here it will show everything because I just copied the cell. If they're different, I'll be able to pick up this one. What is that I have to pick up? I have to pick up the user ID. Now here the cell number also I have to give. So this is very important. I should give a different, for example, this could be authorizer ID. Once I do this, it will be able to tell me which are the places where the same user, the same value is there in both the cells. Okay, now let's come back. Okay, duplicate same row, we see same different. This is interesting. What is same different? Most of this I'm telling you are audit concepts or tests which we need to implement. So what does it do? Match values of each column of all rows to identify records where the same value from the two selected columns are different. Same, but value of the third column is different. For example, I got the suppliers whose name and PAN is same, but the address is different. Okay, which is the one I'm going to use? I'm going to use the procurement file. Okay, I've already got the procurement file. What is that I want to do? I want to identify same different. In identify, duplicate same different. I can apply for multiple things. For example, let's say I got the employee ID, employee name, address is different, or employee name and address, but his bank account is different. Or supplier name, I got the supplier name and I got the supplier address, but his bank account is different. Like that, I can find out different things. GSTN name and GSTN address, but his GST number, this one, what is that? Bank account is different. Like that, I can pick up different permutation combinations. Here, what is that I want to find? Same. Let's say I want to find the material code. If it's the material code, same. And what is different? No, let's pick up the vendor code. So it means I have got the vendor code, which is same. I can do for multiple fields at one shot. The vendor name is different. Okay, you got the concept? Which means same vendor code has got two different names. Let's see, there are about 2000 plus. See, it is one shot, it is picked up this one. I got the vendor name 350. So these are all the things which I've got, which are duplicates. Okay, I can also go and find out the, which are, see here I got, if you see Spark group, here 350. Let's see if we can sort it based on the numbers. Now here 366, I'll also see there will be some, which means it has copied everything and given. I'll also find there are some things which are duplicated. Okay, all right, now let's come back here again. Okay, fuzzy match arrange, I think it's very simple. So very simple, but you can't do this in Excel. Okay, display similarity in two rows based on values by eliminating transposition within the cell. Okay, find duplicate transactions which have been entered in different ways by changing order of the words. Let me go to the account transfer file. Where is my account transfer file? I got this account transfer file. Yes, account transfer file. Now here, if you see, I have written this narration. I think Narsiman also showed this example. Now, what do I want to find? I want to do fuzzy match. There are 4 things. I'm just doing a simple one. Arrange. The same thing I've written. So I'm going to select the transaction. What is the transaction description? Okay. Now, what is that value? Split value. I want to say space. That's all. I can also say find duplicate. It tell me which are the duplicates. I'll say okay. See, by default, you go and find out. Okay, for example, if you see here the result. Okay. Now, if you see here, now this is the what has been arranged. Now, this is what is the duplicate. So here, same transaction number with the same thing narration has been written differently. So I can find out these are things which are duplicate. Now, same printer number you find it has got check number so many times been issued. So this is how I can do a fuzzy range, a fuzzy match and do it. For example, supplier name has come with different name. For example, my name, let's say Abdul Rafiq. So again, it's Rafiq Abdul or Rafiq A. All these type of things I can pick up at one shot. Okay, stratified random, I already explained to you. I'm not going to show. What you can do is you first stratify this data, and then based on that, you can pick up the sample based on different bands of data. Sampling classified. Now, there are actually 34 types of sampling. Now, I'll just show you a quick this one. We already done classified. If you remember, classified we did. Okay, I'm just going to show you this example. Now, if I have got this, let me come back to classify. I'll pick up the, let's say, I'll pick up the sales transfer file. What is that I want to do? I want to do sampling. Now, if you see sampling, now look at the menus. Selection, I've got these 3 simple things: intervals, number, and total count. By criteria, by analysis, I can do numeric, character, outliers, which means I can do the outliers. Based on the outliers, I can pick up the sample. Based on statistics, I can pick up. Based on exceptions, I can pick up. I can search and pick a sample. I can query list of values. Based on duplicates, I can pick up, which means I can perform various types of analysis. From the analysis, I can pick up the sample data. Now, I was thinking of doing based on the classified here. Okay, based on MIS, I can do sampling. All the analytical functions which are there, you can do sampling based on this. What is sampling all about? You want to do intelligent sampling. Okay, which means now I have got the sales, same thing. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the, I am not doing any grouping. So I just picked up the name, I want the total sales. Now see, we did classify last time, you remember? Now here, sampling is enabled. When I click on sampling, I click on this and I say in this case, let's say I go and say I want it based on the value. Now I got this, let's say I want to pick up 3 here, I want to pick up 4, or I can say sample percentage, I can give the sample percentage, based on that I pick up this information. I can say 5 and I say extract. Based on the band which are selected, you should be able to select the data from that particular pattern and give me the 10 samples. See, now you got this. This is how simple it is to do the sampling. So there are actually about 34 types of sampling which are available. Okay, let me close this guy. Okay. Now, relative size factor, I think Narasimhan also talked about this one. What is the relative size factor? It's also there in Excel also. Sorry, in Tally also. I'll just show you one of them. There's one more thing, maximum variance factor. Okay, now difference between maximum variance factor, relative sizes. The relative size factor is the highest and the lowest. Highest and maximum variance factor is the highest and the lowest. Relative size factor is the first highest and the second highest. Okay. Now I'll just show you, I think maybe 2 or 3 functions, then we'll go further. What we want to do was, here I want to find, so for that I think I need to pick up the right file. I'm going to pick up this data procurement. What I would like to do is, where is my relative size factor? Here. This is very simple. You need to know how to select the right data. What is I want to apply this one on? I want to apply based on the select RSS field, which is the unit price. Now, based on the material code. Yes. Now, what is the numeric field I want to do? Based on the unit price. Simple. Which means for each material code, I want to do the RSS based on the unit price. Now, I can do high and I can do low. In fact, this idea of low was given by Venu. When I was discussing, he said, oh, I can do from the highest, now let it do from the bottom also. Then we added another function called as low. Okay, now you see the power of the data analytics software. Here, at one click, in a few seconds, I have got to know which are the items which are exceptions. Now, if you see here, this item, 40 rupees, lowest, this one is 5 rupees, which means the variation of 8 times. This particular item, you find, first you get 5,000 rupees, second is 2,984, the variance 1.6, which means it gives me the complete variance for each of these values. Which means at one shot, I'm able to pick up this information, which means I've done a complete digital analysis of all these 2,000 items which have been purchased and picked up the exceptions in a few seconds. Now, there are 2,000 items, there will be 20,000 items. In fact, we've done analysis for one e-commerce company where they had 9 lakh items and about 35,000 items, and we're able to do in a few minutes. Okay, maximum variance factor similar, I'm not showing. Join file is similar to the VLOOKUP function, where you can join 2 files and show. Okay, I'll do the authentication check. What is authentication check? So I want to find whether the authorization has been completely and correctly performed. Not completely, correctly performed. Okay, let me show the example. Now here, let me pick up the right file. Yes, I have got the sales file and I've got the sales authorization limit. Now we have kept this file in such a way so that you can also use sample data and use it for learning. Okay, I've got the sales. After sales, I've also got on sales authorization limit. Let me push this guy here. Okay, now I got the sales. Now let's see, in the sales transaction file, what do I have? I have all the user IDs. Okay, name, user ID is there. And in the sales authorization limit, I have the limit. Now what I want to do is, I want to check whether all the transactions which have been entered, there are about 66, which means 6,666 transactions are there. And there are how many users? There are about 10 users. I want to do a segregation of duties or authorization of the sales, whether all the transactions have been done, authorized by the user based within their authorization limit. Okay, so what do I do? Here we have something called a ready-made template. So sale, I have got an authentication check. Do you want to perform in background? Click yes to perform normal. I say I want to perform normal. Some of the functions which take a long time, we do not want Excel to wait. So we have provided the option where it will be provided done in the background. You can continue to work in Excel. Suppose you got one file which is 50,000 records. It may take 5 minutes to perform. Because ultimately you should remember that in this case, we are not depending on Excel. we have our own database. For example, in this case, access the backend, all the query, everything is run in the access backend engine, and you get the result and displayed in the software. Now here, I'm going to select the sales authorization limit file. Yes, it's selected. I've got this. Now, what I want to do is I want to match the user ID is equal to user ID. Okay, that is done. What is the next thing I want to do? I got the sales limit. What is the check I want to perform? I want to check whether the sales is greater than the limit. This will give me at one shot all the transactions which are authorized by the users beyond their given limit. Okay, now let's see what is the magic and how I can do this. This is where the power of data comes in. In a few seconds, you should be able to get the complete, which means you've done 100% authentication check of all the transactions and found out there are 21 exceptions. Okay, which means now this person, if you see RA, his limit is 20,000. He has done transactions 1,20,000. Now you want to find out how many transactions have been done by RA. Now you find totally 4 transactions are there. You want to find out how many are done by SA. You find there are how many? This guy seems to have done 10 transactions. Okay, his limit is 10,000, and whereas if you look at this one, he has also authorized transaction 1,04,000. Now this is where you can save this in Excel and ask your staff to go and do a detailed verification to why this happened and why this compliance was violated. Okay, now compare files. This I think is the last function, and a few other things. Let me quickly walk through that. You can also split sheet by group. This is very simple. Which means what are data I've got. For example, I showed you the sales data. I want to split this based on the data entered by this by the user, or I got the sales, and based on the GST, I want to split into groups. GST at 12%, GST at 80%, like that. I can split the data. It'll actually copy the data into separate sheets in one shot. Okay, you can also do Pareto analysis, which is that 80-20 rule. Okay, you can also do ABC analysis. Or you can also do quadrant analysis. Quadrant analysis, high, medium, high, low, like that. You can do the quadrant analysis. You can also apply the Benford law. I'll show you the Benford law also. So the 2 things I'm going to show before we go. Let's come back here. Now, what is that I want to show you? I wanted to show you, let's pick up this information. Let's say I want to pick up the Pareto analysis. I want to show the compare files. Yes. Anyway, let me finish this. So Pareto analysis, I want to pick up the sales. No, I can go and I can also perform Pareto analysis based on the name and then based on the sale value. It means within each of the customers, I want to find, okay, which are the value which is 80% or 20% like that, or I can remove this and do it. Anyway, let me finish this. I can do a summary. Now, this, in fact, idea for this was given by Mehtaji. When you're discussing, he's an expert in Excel. So he called me once and said, Rafiq ji, ho sakta hai Pareto analysis. I said, kyun nahi ho sakta? Then you worked on the logic and based on that we added. You got this 80% and then you got 20%. Similarly, ABC analysis also, I think, was an idea given by Mehtaji. So Mehtaji has contributed a lot of ideas. He asked questions and then we find answers. Okay, now I want to show you the compare files. Let me come to the compare files. Then I'll go to one more software. This I've shown you exactly the data available in Excel. I'm going to pick up what is called as invoice 2016. Okay, now I want to do what is called as analysis, compare files, comparative analysis. There are so many types of comparison I can do. I'm going to do comparison based on the file. For example, I want to do comparison of the opening balances based on the ledger names between the opening balance and the closing balance. I can use this function to do it. I got invoice 2017, which is here. Okay, now what is that I want to compare? First, let's get the criteria, right? I want to find out the performance based on the customer number. I got the customer number. I want to find out what are the sales which has been made for each of the customer number. I'm going to select the amount. Okay, this is what. So it means at one shot, I should be able to total the invoices for 2016 as per the customer number and give me the comparison and the difference also. Now tell me in Excel, can I do this? Our friends will answer yes, in Excel anything can be done. Now the question is, how much time will it take for you to do this? And are we able to do it much faster here? I think the result has come. Yeah, I think it has gone to this. Yes. Now if you see here, I got the result here. What does it tells me? For customer number 10,000, last year we sold 3, this time we sold 5, the difference is 2. Okay, like that it gives me comparative analysis for each of this. It also now, I want to find out which of the customers where the major difference is there. So I found this customer. Okay, between 2016 and 2017, there is a significant change. So it depends on how you are computing this. Now I want to find out, let's say I apply 0 here. So what does it show? These are the customers who bought last year who did not buy this year. Similarly, if I apply 0 here, what does it show? It tells me that these are customers who didn't buy last year, but they were added current year. Now just see the type of analysis you can perform using this. Okay, the type of MIS and value addition you can provide to your client. Okay, this is about eCAAT. Now let's summarize. I think we have gone through the whole thing. Yeah, I want to show the last one, which is the Benford law. Let's complete this, then I think we'll move forward to the next one. Benford law. For the Benford law, let us pick up the file which has got maximum number of transactions, which is the sales transactions. Now look at Benford law and let's look at how we can do it. This should be available in analysis. Benford law. 1 minute. Let's see. So I don't remember where I've kept it. Let's see. Well, it should be in statistics. Yes, we moved it to statistics. Yes, Benford law. Now you don't know Benford law. Just select. Simple thing is, I think Narasimhan also explained. Now there's no meaning in doing for the invoice number. I do based on for Benford law, the value should be random and it should be numeric. Okay, it should not be controlled, which means I give check number in one series, invoice number one series, that I cannot do Benford law. Okay, by default, assume. Let's look at the result and see what I get. Generate. So in a few seconds, I get the result. What it does is it computes the sales as per the first digit. And for the first digit, what is the number of sales? Generally, I would have assumed based on the average that it should be 1. Let's see if I can magnify this. No. Okay. Now here, if you see, I've got 1. Generally, as per the Benford law, it should be 30.1%. Here it is actually 13.4%. As for the second digit sales value starting with 17 points, it should be actually 17.6, but actually it's 15%. So this is how I can compute. In what way can I use the Benford law? I can use it for a pattern analysis. If somebody has done a fraud, he's entered a lot of transactions, let's say 9,595. So you see, starting with 9, it should be only 4.6%. Here it's actually 1.3%. If somebody has created a lot of transactions within the limit, then you find that as per the Benford law, that value would have gone up. Then you can do double click and find out what are the transactions which have happened and do further analysis. You can also use it for pattern analysis, which is you compute the Benford law for 1 year, do the Benford law for the next year, and do a comparison and find out the pattern, whether things have changed compared to the last year. Now, this is as far as our eCAAT is concerned. So I've given you a quick overview of what are the functions which are available. Now, this gives you a list of all the functions which are available. Now, if you see, now just look at the functions. I've just sort this one selected based on the functions. Okay, now I just picked up the F. So what are the number of functions I have? 374 functions are available. So for example, in curate, how many functions are there in curate? I just go and select based on the curate. Okay, so these are the functions, which means 69 functions on curate. How many are there, let's say, in analysis, analyze? Okay, there are about 71 functions in analyze. Now you see, get an idea. Classifier, Benford law. So you can become an expert in data analytics by using this function. And all these functions take less than 5 minutes for you to master. Once you know the tools, depending on the need, like a commando, use the tools which is required. Okay, now let's close this. Now I just want to do a quick analysis. Now this also I think we have done.